Hey my friends, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? We're coming to you from Tucumcari, New Mexico, and we have a pretty great day planned. Wanted to start here because I want to show you a few things in town as we head out. Daze with Jordan the Lion, Route 66, you all, and Billy the Kid. It begins right now. Not only is it super cool that this motel has this airplane here, but they've went a little bit of a step further because they have one coming out of their diner as well. I love it. I love the old signs. The old gas stations. Oh, check that out. There's the teepee. Tried to stay here last night, but it was totally booked up. Right here on Route 66, the famous Blue Swallow. Classic vehicles, classic old roadside motel. Absolutely classic Route 66. Tucumcari, New Mexico, land of enchantment. The Mother Road. Look at that mural, isn't that great? That's a big sombrero. Oh, by the way, good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
We're encountering a little bit of rain here in New Mexico, but nothing we can't handle. After a long drive, we are almost to Billy. Kind of weird to follow the trail out to an old gunfighter, legendary gunfighter's trail to his grave and find it to be a big visitor center building. On the side they have pictures of historic men and people from the Wild West, Wes Hardin, of course Doc Holliday, Old Man Clanton, Calamity Jane, Wyatt Earp, of course Pat Garrett, the man who famously killed Billy the Kid, and then Billy himself. And then right here at the Chamber of Commerce, you can visit the grave of Billy the Kid. And then we're going to go over to, they have a museum here in town. William Billy the Kid Bonney. Henry McCarty is better known by his alias. William Billy the Kid Bonney. His family moved to the New Mexico Territory in 1873. Bonney was charged with numerous thefts and involved in 9 murders during his brief life. At the age of 19, he was sentenced to death for the murder of Sheriff William Brady. On April 21st, 1881, Bonney escaped from the Lincoln County Jail, killing 2 deputies. He fled to Fort Sumner, the home of many of his friends. Bonney was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in Peter Maxwell's house on July 14th, 1881. His grave in Fort Sumner Cemetery was originally marked by a wooden cross. So we're heading this way. This was an old military cemetery, I believe. We'll read up on that on our way. On our way out, they actually have, there he is over there. Joe Grant, shot by William Bonney. One of the victims, shot by Billy the Kid, said, "It is said that, while drunk one night, Grant had the misfortune of getting on the wrong side of Billy the Kid at Beaver Smith Saloon. in Fort Sumner. After a heated discussion, Grant bet Billy $25 that he would kill a man first. Billy feigned false admiration for Grant's gun and asked to examine it. While doing so, Billy rotated the cylinder to an empty chamber, anticipating trouble. Billy and Grant eventually got into an argument, and as Billy turned to walk away, Grant tried to shoot Billy in the back, but all he heard was a click. Billy turned and drew, firing 3 shots, killing Grant instantly. That was January 10th of 1880. We'll make our way around the long way because there's other graves, and I want to see if they have anything to do with Billy. Actually, looks like a Maxwell grave down here. Here's Juanita Garrett, first wife of Pat Garrett. I did go to his grave as well. I vlogged that and where he was actually shot. Lucien Bonaparte Maxwell of the Maxwell Grant. Wow. And then right over here is Peter Maxwell. That was the story we read about when we came in. Memory of Peter Maxwell. Died June 21st, 1838, it looks like. And now we're walking over to Billy's final resting place. Now they say that he actually escaped and that he was living out his days in Hico, Texas. And we'll read the stories here about his unlucky friends. It says Billy the Kid's tombstone was stolen in 1951. Its location was a mystery for 26 years until 1976 when it was recovered in Granbury, Texas by Joe Bolin. The tombstone was stolen again on February 8, 1981, recovered 4 days later in Huntington Beach, California. Governor King arranged for Dabaca County Sheriff Big Jim McBride to fly to Los Angeles to retrieve the marker. Chamber officials, along with Jarvis P. Garrett, officially reset the tombstone in iron shackles at Billy's feet on May 30th, 1981. Aha! It says Billy was known by many names: William Henry McCarthy, William Bonney, but he was best known as Billy the Kid. Born in New York City in 1859, he would find infamy in the Old West as a hired gun, outlaw, and otherwise stone-cold killer. His mother died in 1874 when he was 14, leaving Billy to spend the next year in foster homes. 1875, he was caught stealing clothing from a Chinese laundry. McCarthy fled town and began his career as a roving ranch hand, gambler, and gang member. Billy first earned his reputation as a gunslinger in 1878 when he participated in a bloody frontier war in Lincoln County, New Mexico. He joined a vigilante group called the Regulators, and he was charged with the murder of Lincoln County Sheriff William Brady. Pursued by Sheriff Pat Garrett, the Kid sought refuge with friends in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. On the night of July 14th, 1881, Garrett went to the home of Peter Maxwell to question him about Billy's whereabouts. No sooner had he woken Maxwell, the Kid also approached the house, suspicious of one of Garrett's deputies. On the porch, the Kid backed into Maxwell's darkened room, shouting, "Who's that?" Recognizing the Kid's voice, Garrett drew his gun and fired off 2 rounds. One bullet struck the 21-year-old near his heart, killing him instantly. And here's one of the headstones at the foot of his grave. You can see it says Billy the Kid. And then there's another one. It says Pals. Tom O'Folliard died December 1880. William H. Bonney, a.k.a. Billy the Kid. And Charlie Beaudry died 1880. Look at all the money that people have thrown bills and coins in there for all three graves that are here. Billy being this one on the right. Let's find out the story about those two friends. It says Charlie Beaudry, the unlucky friend of Billy the Kid, fought alongside Billy in the Lincoln County War after losing the war. Both he and the Kid retreated to Fort Sumner, where Beaudry worked as a cowboy and also suspect in Billy's outlaw endeavors. In December of 1880, the gang encountered Sheriff Pat Garrett. A gunfight ensued and Garrett killed gang member Tom O'Folliard. An escape was made and refuge was found in an abandoned farmhouse in Stinking Springs, New Mexico. It was there on December 23rd, 1880, during a shootout that Beaudry was killed by a member of Garrett's 20-man posse. Later that day, Billy surrendered and was escorted to jail, unleashing a series of noteworthy events which would conclude with his death on July 14th, 1881. And then Tom was the best friend of Billy the Kid. Both men were members of the Regulators during the Lincoln County War. O'Folliard was shot in the shoulder during the famous 5-day battle in Lincoln. After the war ended, they spent the next 2 years rustling cattle before forming the Bonnie Gang with fellow outlaws Charlie Beaudry and Tom Pickett. He was shot in the chest by Sheriff Pat Garrett on December 19th, 1880 at Fort Sumner, dying approximately 45 minutes later. So it's like the Young Guns movie, basically. His gang. So here's our story on the cemetery. It was purported to be the military cemetery for Fort Sumner. Deactivated by the U.S. Army in 1869. A year later, the post buildings were sold to Lucian Maxwell, who we saw buried in there, one of the largest landowners in New Mexico. Maxwell moved to the area from Colfax County and rebuilt the former officers' quarters into a 20-room Spanish colonial mansion. He died in 1875. I was kind of curious if Peter Maxwell's house still was around in any way, if they had saved anything from it. And online it looks like it says that any remnants of it washed away long ago, and that it was located where the flagpole is near the riverbanks. Alright, I want to check out this privately owned museum here in Fort Sumner. This is the 6-shooter gallery sign, but right behind it is the Billy the Kid Museum, so look for this gun off to the side of the road. This should be quite an experience. They have quite a museum here. Everybody we've kind of talked about already is represented here. There's the Fort Sumner mail post office box. That's talking about Lucian Maxwell that we already talked about, the big landowner. That's a picture of him painting what's left of it. Been ravaged by time. That's what it used to look like. Then here's a picture of two gentlemen that says that their grandfathers were pallbearers for Billy the Kid in 1881. Sign that says, "Enter here to see Billy's rifle." And then they also have a Billy Kid room. One of the old signs. Let's see what we have over here. It says this curtain hung over the door where the kid was killed. Wow. And then this is a rock that they brought from Stinking Springs, where Billy's hideout was. And you can see that they've got Billy's name is etched into the rock. So 4th of July, 1880. You see the 1880, the 7-4 Billy. And then over here is more of the curtain that hung over the doorway. Yeah, you can actually see where the doorway would have been right there, where the kid was killed. Then one of the original, this is one of 27 original reward posters for Billy, as well as Billy's actual rifle. Wow, look at that. 44 caliber 1873 Winchester. Billy the Kid gave this Rifle to Celadon Trujillo. 2 months before, Billy was shot by Pat Garrett on the bedroom of Pete Maxwell's, July 14th, 1881. And there's a sheriff's badge and a constable badge. And then some documentation for the gun and case that we have here from Mr. Trujillo. He signed it. Wow. His actual gun. Wow. That is something. And look at these crazy looking chaps. Literally they're chaps, and it says that they were purchased by the museum owner. The story is believed to be fact. It was Billy was working on the Tunstall Ranch close to Lincoln when he found 2 men altering brands on the cattle. Billy shot one, the other man got away. Billy took these chaps and spurs off the man and kept them for himself. And there are the spurs. And then here we have another wanted poster, an original wanted poster, and one of his gun belts. Wow, they have a heck of a collection here. And then they found this. It was a homemade tombstone for Billy. They found it in a pasture. They said they don't know why it says 1880, because Billy was killed in 1881, but it says Billy the Kid. And here's an original version of The Authentic Life of Billy the Kid by Pat Garrett. And then this, I can't believe that I haven't shown you this yet. You know what those holes are from. That was the door from Pete Maxwell's bedroom. It was through this door Billy the Kid, back the night he was killed, when he yelled out who it was. Lumber from Maxwell's home as well as lumber from the surrounding buildings was bought by Lonnie Horn in 1887. It was used to build Pigpen Ranch, and that door was used at the ranch until 1940. Oh, it says the holes have nothing to do with Billy's death. They were shot in the door in the 1900s. Wah, wah. Not really a gunfighter, but they have picture of John Wayne. I'm like, I wonder why. Oh, because they have his business card right there. This case is really interesting. It doesn't have anything to do with Billy the Kid, but it's Butch Cassidy. So it looks like Butch Cassidy's items. Some of his handcuffs that are right there. Knife, gun, bullets. So this is interesting. Another thing, not Billy the Kid, but pretty fascinating. Picture Pancho Villa, and says this is one of his 7 pairs of spurs that were made for Pancho Villa and his lieutenants. Wow. Now it says this chair and this couch came from Peter Maxwell's house where Billy was shot. So of course they don't want you to touch him. And then that was a portrait of Peter. Yeah, quite a display here. I'll give him that. He really put a lot into this. He claims they have cars here. I don't think Billy the Kid had a car, but I'm kind of curious because this is a really great museum so far. That's pretty cool. They actually recreated the gravesite here. In case I guess you want to take a photo without the cage in front of it, you can do an exact replica of the gravesites that we already saw. And then little boot hill into jail.
Scott, can you let me out? I think there's been a mistake.
What did you do?
I don't know. They told me I could look around.
They told you that you can't take video.
Yeah, no video.
I told you.
So there's Billy the Kid in here. The bars in this jail cell came from the Dawson, New Mexico mining town in the northern part of the state. GL was built here as a photo prop for people to enjoy. It has nothing to do with Billy the Kid, even though someone wrote Billy the Kid across it. So even this one's from 1890. So that's still 9 years after Billy's passing. That tells you how old these are. Oh wow, they really do have a car museum in here. Wow. Wow, that is beautiful. So it says for years this car used to sit out in front of the Billy the Kid Museum. And look at this, old Studebaker. Beautiful. Alright my friends, we're going to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed our tour of Billy the Kid's gravesite and the museum today. I had a great day, Scott seemed to have a great day, and I hope you all did too. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.